Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the DVC show. I'm your host, Paul Krieger, joined as always by my lovely wife, Amy Krieger.
Hello.
Before we dive into today's discussion, I did want to take a moment and share a quick but profound update regarding the future of our show. Today, you might notice things look a little different around here, and that is because our dear friend Panda, aka John Sakari, has decided to step away from DVC Fan and the DVC show. We do respect this decision. We are dear friends of him, and we do wish him nothing but the best. He's been an important part of this community for the past several years, and we truly hope that we can convince him to come back from time to time and be a guest.
You're probably wondering about the future of our show, but rest assured, the four of us, Paul, Derek, Jeff, and I are going to be here each and every Monday to give you the best, most updated DVC news. We do, out of respect for Panda, do not have plans to immediately, fill his permanent seat. But in the meantime, we plan to listen to the feedback from you, our DVC fan community. And, throughout, you may see some familiar friends, you may see some new faces, as we look to inject some new opinions, demographics, and just some new voices into the show. But one thing's for certain, we do plan to be here every Monday, giving you the latest and hopefully Derek's corny jokes too. So,
Derek, Jeff, anything you guys want to add?
Just to kind of echo what you already said, we wish him well. We're excited to see what he does next. We'll miss him. But he's close by. He just texted me the other day to ask me to go to Animal Kingdom with him. So it's not like he's far away.
Yeah. And he is truly one of the sweetest people in the whole entire world. We know that we're going to see him in the parks. We'll probably wind up going out to dinner with him again. We wish him nothing but the absolute best. He is such an amazing, amazing person that we have. He made us a better show. So we love you, Panda.
Yep. Love you, Panda. On this week's episode of the DVC show, we decided to come back around to something that I think we talked about maybe 3 or 4 months ago, but you guys loved and ate up that show. I try not to go too deep and dark into the numbers realm on these shows because, one, someone's going to say, well, you didn't carry the 9 and 6, 7 it all the way to the 8. And that never goes well. And so none of us do the math when it comes to DVC the same way, I feel like. You're just glaring at me.
I'm just an emotional DVC buyer. I don't do math at all.
You do for a living, I'm pretty sure, but that's scary.
I just buy it.
But we did a show that was kind of a market update that talked about, what's happening both in the direct realm of Disney Vacation Club sales and also what's happening with the resale market, because I think those are two key things that are kind of moving targets. They do change periodically, and you guys are always asking us, is it a good time to buy? Is it a good time to sell? What time is it today? I can tell you right now, it is the 29th of October, and it's about 6 o'clock, and I think the rest of us are starting to get hungry.
Yep.
I got a pizza calling my name.
Oh, okay, cool. So where we're going to start with this conversation, even though Derek probably just wants to jump us to resale real fast, is direct purchases.
Not true. Direct purchases, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for direct purchases. So I'm all about talking. The more that people take time to learn about it on their Disney vacation, that's more people that then do research, and then more people that wind up answered with us. So please talk direct by all means.
And Jeff, I want you to play a little role of devil's advocate here on this show, because I know that you've casually. I didn't ask you to be a curmudgeon and just disagree with us the whole show. But I know that you've been considering potentially a contract in the relatively near future. I know you sold a contract recently, so you've kind of lived this evolution.
I feel like he almost found one the other day, but it was the wrong use year. Didn't that just happen?
Yeah, I was so excited.
But so if anything we say along the way, you're kind of like, let's dive into that a little bit further. Dig into that one. When it comes to direct sales, this is something that doesn't change all that much, but it does. And every quarter, Disney Vacation Club comes out with essentially what we call their direct, well, I choked on it there. The direct incentives that they are running for that quarter. So right now we're kind of in the fall season of Disney Vacation Club, and between now and December 10th, they are running current direct incentives. And when we say incentives, those are for those actively selling properties that are usually not sold out. So those include the cabins at Fort Wilderness, Disneyland Hotel, Riviera, Alani, Polynesian Villas and Bungalows. And for this round of incentives, we actually have a little add-on extra incentive that Disney Vacation Club threw in there for Saratoga Springs, but we'll hint on that a little bit more. These are those things that you need to keep an eye on if you are considering a direct purchase, I really think.
Yeah. So they change. Sometimes they're better than others. You know, I remember one of the best ones was when the Grand Floridian brought in its second edition, the Big Pine Key. And those direct incentives, those were some of the best I had ever seen.
Yeah.
I think I was even telling people, yeah, you should probably buy direct.
Yeah.
And people still talk about it to this day. It was like the stuff of legends when members tell you, yeah, we own the Grand Floridian, you know, we bought it back during, I'm like, I know, the fire sale. You know,
yeah. Right.
And then we get the question, do you ever think that that'll come back again? It's like,
I don't think so.
Don't think
but yeah, but they're kind of always changing. Sometimes they're always very similar. One of the things that one of my advice is that if people ask me and they're looking at direct and they're like, I don't know if these are going to be the best incentives or if the next incentives are going to be the best incentives. You do have, I think, is it a 10-day period, Derek? Like a cooling off period. So if you buy towards the end of the incentive cycle.
So if these are expiring December 10th, you know, December 3rd, let's say.
Or December, 8 or 9 or whatever. And then you've still got those days, you know, that you can rescind where you can find out what the next batch of incentives are. And if they're better, you know, technically you can cancel and rebuy under the new incentives. But typically I feel like usually the ones that are out there end up being the better ones, but it also depends on what property you're buying. So
it does. And it really depends on what Disney Vacation Club's trying to push. I think what we've seen with recent rounds of incentives is that Fort Wilderness Cabins is getting a little bit more love, and they're trying to bring down that price per point because newsflash, if you haven't heard, it's struggling a little bit because of those high annual dues over at Fort Wilderness. And so they've really put a little bit more love on the incentives over there. These fall incentives that we recently saw come out, they're not as high as summer was. Summer really benefited from what was an added, what they called their Welcome Home Weeks bonus. So they had some special added discounts because of the Welcome Home Weeks specials that they run during the summer months. But fall in general, not as good. The real thing, I'll cut over to Derek and Jeff here in a second. The real thing that I wanted to, mention when it comes to direct purchases is that if you are thinking about a direct contract for one reason or another, buying now is always the safer bet. If that is the decision that you want, if you want that direct purchase, if you want those benefits, the price is obviously going to fluctuate a little bit, as we've said with these incentives, but it's not going to historically get cheaper. And as we sit here in the fall and early winter months of 2025, as we head into the holidays, January is a critical time when it comes to direct Disney Vacation Club, because one thing we know for certain that has happened year after year is that the price per point increases on all of these resorts. So I really want to just drive that home, is in that even though they could increase incentives, that price per point increase is going to negate all of that. So the price is never cheaper than it is today.
And if you're ever wondering, how do I know what the incentives are? Where do I find them? This guy right here, soon as what?
Nope, not this time.
Okay, every time but this time. But normally what happens is the incentives come out. He knows they're coming because when they end. And then I roll over in the morning because I don't like getting up till I have to be in front of my computer like five minutes till. And I roll over and he's gone. And that's because he
just keeps rolling straight out of the bed. Where I normally would lay is nothing.
And that's because he's up and he's writing all about the incentives. So you can always find a really detailed, breakdown with all the charts and all the information on DVC Fan. If you're looking for the latest, go go to dvcfan.com, use the search bar. If they just came out, they're going to be near the top. But if they've been out for a little while, use the search bar, search incentives, and you can look at the historical information as well. He always has a really well laid out article about him. So
a big shout out to Lauren Dela Cruz, who actually helped me out with this cycle. These came out on October 1st.
Okay.
I don't know where we were, but I know that I had 500 other things going on.
Yeah.
And then I remembered it was Incentives Day.
Calendar looks
I'm like looking back at my calendar going, what were we doing on, oh no, I'm in September now. What were we doing on October 1st? Yeah, it was I think it was just the chaos of the beginning of the month, and I wasn't expecting it.
Beginning of the month, so we have all kinds of reports and stuff that we do.
I was too busy writing the resale article that I couldn't write the direct article. Look at that.
Yeah, and the right of first refusal, average resale prices, all that. Yeah, that's first of the month's busy.
First of the month is busy. We're boring Jeff already. Jeff, any thoughts on direct?
It's a long day, but I'm happy. Kicking in.
Derek, any thoughts on kind of these direct incentives? Can you give us kind of the behind the scenes knowledge from how maybe you guys treated these back in your direct salesman days?
Oh, yeah. And that's why I'm glad you made the point, Paul, is that always know that the price is always going to go up. No one ever, the incentives may change, but that base price will always go up. That base price will never, ever go down. You're never going to see the base price, say if it's, 235 or 245 now, you're never going to see that base price drop to, oh my God, like 215 or 220. What you'll see are those, incentives where I'm always amazed. Like, I feel like you need like a spreadsheet or a certain degree to keep track of all the incentives that they have now. Cause it's like, here's Welcome Home Wednesdays, and it's a Thursday. So now you save an additional 5%, and you happen to go to the Epcot yesterday? Oh, well, here's an additional $500 off. You have a Disney Visa? Well, here's this. Put that on top of it. Whereas you got to look at just the price per point. So if you know you're going to buy direct, don't wait to do it. I mean, my God, the people in 1991, again, paid like $49 a point to buy old Key West. I remember being a guide when the price was going up to over $100, this is back in like 2006 or 2007, that direct price was going to go over $100 a point. And I think I've told this story before. I remember talking to my friends and we're like, holy crap, do you think people are going to buy this if it's over $100 a point to buy direct from Disney? Now, cut to, 2025, where we're at right now, and you're talking, 235, 245 per point. So the direct market is incredibly important for the resale market. People always think, and I always like to, share this, is people like, oh my God, I bet you guys like hate each other and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, like not at all. We've got so many great friends. And if it makes sense for you to buy direct, I will give you the name of, great people that you can purchase direct from. But the resale market is a very, 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 can I say the word very important part in direct sales. Because that question, when you're a direct guide, is when people are looking to spend 30, 40, 50, 60 grand on something, the question will come up, well, what if I got to sell it, right? And so the fact that there is an incredibly robust resale market versus every other timeshare is like, yeah, you can sell it, and you might have to sell it for like $1 online and no one's going to want it. Whereas resale is super, super important to the direct process. So we are, kind of intertwined together. We just always encourage, you got to do your research on, I had someone tell me and say, yeah, this was just the other day. Like, yeah, I met and they were pushing, like you said, Paul, they were pushing the cabins. And I'm a big beach club fan, Derek. So, I can still use these cabin points to get in to the beach club during like Food and Wine Fest, right? And that's when you get to go, all right, take a step back. You got to realize you need to do your research to buy the resort you need, not just, whatever it is. Technically, can you use it at the beach club? Sure you can. But that's where, people need to look, what do I need to buy for whatever reason? But if you're going to buy direct, do it sooner rather than later, because that price is only going to increase, let alone that minimum purchase for those quote unquote, direct perks. It's $150 now, but I guarantee you it ain't going to be $150 a year from now. Mark my words on this show. Derek called it correctly, because he said that the new minimum will not be $150 by, October 29th, 2026. So make a little note in there too as well.
Oh man,
that's a bold
that
prediction.
is bold because they've
Big
kept it
bet.
150 for a while.
Yeah.
But a couple of things I want to say.
Nostradamus.
Along Derek's lines, a couple of people went back, and I don't remember. It was one of our. Oh, I think it was Jeff's questions show. And they went back and commented on it, and they said, "Hey, Paul predicted the soaring around America."
Oh, yeah.
And here it is. And so that was
no. People, look at me. I can guarantee you, I had nothing to do with that decision.
Hey, you don't know.
No one listened
I
to
told
that
Disney
show.
to build a Monsters Inc. door coaster, and look now. I mean, you're welcome. I'm just kidding. That was an idea I had a long time ago, but
No.
They probably did too. So I do want to say something about incentives. And Derek brought up the 150. Most often the direct incentives don't start until you buy 150 points, right? Is that usually the case?
We've seen some lower ones, especially if you're looking to add on as like a
but
current
for the
member.
new resorts,
But for new member incentives, the only one, and again, surprise, we're beating a dead horse here. The only one that actually had special incentives this past cycle was Fort Wilderness.
Okay.
So you could actually buy in at Fort Wilderness at a lower.
Okay.
They had incentives starting as low as 100 points for first time buyers, which was kind of unheard of. That's kind of rare.
Yeah. Well, and then along the other thing I've heard, and you can tell me if I'm wrong on this, but just seeing people talking in the community that they lowered the minimum buy-ins for all resorts.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that kind of is telling, I think.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what we said about direct sales over the course of the past several years. Even if you go back, I can't believe it's been like 6 years since the pandemic. I know. It's very weird to talk about it that way because it just feels like, I feel like all of us that lived through that's always just going to feel like yesterday because it was like this lost moment in space of our life. But for me, it always feels like it was so recent. But if we go back from emerging from that point in time, I think part of the goal with direct sales has been to sell where we can sell points where and however we can sell points. That's why we saw Big Pine Key become another addition to the Grand Floridian. Is they said, what's an easy win for us? And that was a very simple, easy win. And so I think that, that mindset continues to drive it. That mindset, the same leadership has been in place as we've kind of emerged over the past few years that has driven those decisions. So I think we'll just continue to see a lot of that in the coming years as to if we can sell it, we're going to sell it.
Yeah. You even mentioning, and going through all the resorts that currently have promotion, it made my head explode just because I remember being a Disney Vacation Club guide. And I've told this story. It's like we had one resort to sell. That was it. Because you didn't want people to have too many choices. So then they say the words that any direct guide doesn't want to hear no matter what is, this is great, but I need to go home to think about it. That's what you don't want to hear. So if you're leaving and you've got 5 different price sheets for 5 different resorts, whereas before it was, here you go, you got the boardwalk. That's it. That's how much it costs. And that's it. Like that was so much easier. So I don't envy the fact because it does give people so many more choices. And then you throw in the resale market too, which again, research is like, well, you know what? Okay, wow, I can buy any resort. So now technically you've got all the resorts on the resale side, but you get to look to say, how many points do I really need and which resort do I really need? That's most important.
Jeff, any advice to someone considering a direct purchase right now?
Yeah, just kind of what you guys said. Don't wait because it's just going to cost you more money. Like I made the worst mistake when it comes to DVC in that when I wanted to buy, it was only 75 points minimum. And I waited, and by the time I bought it was 125, and that was a very short time frame in between those two numbers. So it's going to get more expensive. Whether Derek's right or not, the future we'll see. He's typically wrong though, so we'll see how it goes. But,
I thought when you said your worst mistake when it came to DVC was agreeing to be on this show.
no, I love you guys. I love most of you guys.
Most of you guys.
While we're
now that his sleepover time with me and his beer fest is done, now he can go back to being mean to me. I get it.
You can find more information on that topic on patreon.com/DVCfan. I did want to take the question to ask when it comes to direct sales. First, I did want to say and end this part of the conversation with to Derek's point of multiple choices. If you've been thinking about Riviera Direct, that window is aggressively closing.
That is true.
A year from now, I am certain that it either will be sold out or we will be saying that Disney is announcing that it is sold out for direct sales at that time. It is interesting, though, what they might do with that property, because that will be the first sold out property that has restrictions.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if they treat it a little bit differently. Maybe kind of how they view that property.
Well, they could ROFR a lot more at a lower price and just continue continue on, depending on what the demand is. You know what I mean? That's always going to be dependent.
That's what I was going to say. Because of resale restrictions, that's probably the biggest value disparity.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Direct and then had to turn around and sell it because of those restrictions. There's a big jump.
Yeah.
Disney can keep those up and flip them pretty darn easily. And
Derek.
I think they're going to have to start looking at those strategies, because I was just doing some quick math while you guys were talking. And when you start looking at the 2042 resorts and what those quote unquote sold out numbers are, because there's not a lot of life left on those contracts, that price per point over the term of your mortgage or the term of your ownership is really high now. It's higher, and it's only going to get higher and higher because you have less time to use it, right?
Yeah.
This goes back to my math equation when we were talking with Tracy and Rob a few weeks ago. Based on what they're selling for right now, Old Key West ends up being like $12.65 a point for the longevity of the contract. And we don't need to get into the weeds here. That's high compared to almost anything else. So
yeah, that's a really good point.
I think they're going to have to start doubling down on these resorts that are newer to keep going.
Yeah, that is a really good point, though, because when you say, the prices are going to go up, if you want to buy, you might want to think about doing it soon. Like at the same time, the expiration dates are getting closer. And so, if you buy it now versus 6 months from now, you've got 6 less months of use for probably the same price or more. So that is something to consider.
And sorry, and that's a great point, Jeff, is that you can go online onto the DVC resale market. That's why I got my glasses on. As every quarter we publish one. It's called the most economical resorts to purchase, and you can go through, and we take all of those things into consideration. So we take, price per point, the amount of years left, the annual dues, and we break it out. And Old Key West is kind of down near the bottom. It's not as bad as like even a beach club or a Vero Beach or Hilton Head, Boardwalk, Old Key West. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The bottom 5s are all 2042s.
Yeah.
There's going to be a point that Disney's not even going to be able to sell them anymore, because it's just not going to be worth it for people to. There's too many other options now with later dates. So.
It's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds, in the coming years.
Jeff, you brought up a great point with the Riviera, is because when sellers do come to me and they come to sell it, you're looking at, I think our average resale price like last month was somewhere like $118.
I was going to ask you what that was, Derek. Yeah.
We're talking about people that paid, say, $215, $225, $235. It's like a car. You lost $100 a point the second you sign that direct contract. So that's where people will say, well, who the heck would buy it then? Because you can only stay at one resort. Who's buying it? Who loves to buy it? Members. Resale vacation club members that only have access to, the 14 original DVC resorts. They look at that price per point and realize, I had someone snag a Riviera for like $105 per point. And they go, they're just perfect. So I got my, resale points that I've got the 14, but we love the Riviera. So now we'll add on a couple nights, or maybe we'll do every other year just with those Riviera points, because you can't beat it for 100 to 120 per point. So that's who it works for. Not new members. I always say, people go, oh, we love the Riviera. We stayed there and we're thinking about being a member. But I'm like, you don't want to buy it. Like, as a new member, honestly, just because you're going to see the Polynesian and the Grand Floridian and Bay Lake Tower or Animal Kingdom and go, God, I wish I could use my resale points to, be able to stay there. But yeah, for members, it's a slam dunk.
Yep.
There's another group that's buying those too, though. And I almost fell into this group 3 times last month. And that's the ones that need instant gratification. I have no points until March. If I buy with Disney, I get my points today. If I buy resale, I might not get more points before the end of the year. And I need to book a trip in February. Right. So
true.
So you're saying you almost bought direct recently?
I almost did.
Because you wanted the
and
points.
I was like, wait, what am I doing? And I backed up and I said, I'll just rent some points from Paul.
He was at the table ready to sign, and then he said, nope, just take me to the ice. Just take me to the ice cream place. Let me have some ice cream instead. Yeah.
This was after he went to the beer fest. I think I need some direct points.
So I want to go back to Nostraderic for a second here, because I want another bold prediction. Another question that's come up, and we played the conversation a little bit through on our DVC Fan Oktoberfest live stream, but a lot of questions are starting to pop up about Disney Lakeshore Lodge and when we are going to see point sales begin for that resort. And a lot of people also are saying, when is that resort going to open? And all that I will tell you is it took, 7 years for them to build Tron. The speed at which they are building this resort is a construction project that I don't think any of us have seen at Walt Disney World for quite some time. We were just at Bay Lake Tower for the Wine and Dine Half Marathon weekend. And I just looking over there going, holy moly. Like, that thing is topped out. And it has windows.
And if you haven't seen it, we posted an article, thanks to the photos from, is it called Bio Reconstruct?
You got it. Look at that.
Okay. They had some really cool aerial photos of the whole resort and area. And so we posted some, just an article just detailing, this is what's going on. This, like, you can see the lazy river coming together, and the little triangle, A-frame cabins, and those are going to be really cool because they're like right along the lake. But also you can just see how overwhelmingly close it's. I wouldn't even say close. It is on Fort Wilderness property. Like, it is on top of, behind the hotel, the new Lakeshore Lodge is where Tri-Circle D Ranch is, and then right next to it is where the complex that holds Pioneer Hall and Trails End, and those sorts of places. So it is right there.
And what's crazy for me is that the look around Bay Lake, the lake, is now becoming kind of the same look as it is around Seven Seas Lagoon, where you could see all the resorts. Now from Bay Lake, you can see Fort Wilderness and see Lakeshore Lodge in the distance, and you can see Wilderness Lodge off to the side also. And it's just like, are they just going to keep looping around? I know there's homes on the far side of the lake, but are we just going to keep expanding out this way?
Probably. They're probably going to have to add another stop to the electric water pageant too. I mean, they will. They'll have it in front of there, don't you think?
Yeah, if you would, because I think the owners of that resort would want to. And we have seen there are some pylons and stuff that suggest that there's probably going to be its own independent water taxi station and water transportation going right from Lakeshore Lodge. But my question to come down to it is, when do we think Lakeshore Lodge is going to open for direct sales? Because that is a thing that a lot of people are kind of going back and forth right now on, is do I buy one of these properties because I know that I can lock in, probably a lower price right now and become that direct member right now by buying one of those, or do I wait for Lakeshore Lodge? So, Jeff, I'll start with you.
Oh man, you guys are the pros of this. I have no earthly idea. I've never been plugged into the timeline. I've only been with you guys for a couple years on the show. I don't know, August? Sure, what the hell?
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen in August, dude.
In
Someone's
August,
gonna
and
go
you'll be
back.
like,
I have
oh my
no
goodness,
idea.
Jeff said he had no clue what he was talking about. I bet he knew back then. I bet he knew. August 5th.
I will say this. The speed in which this thing, like you guys were saying, has gone up compared to even the Poly Tower is really just, it is mind blowing because it's triple the size of the Poly Tower and it feels like it's almost done. I mean, it's not. I know they've got a lot of indoor work to do and stuff, but man, it felt like Poly Tower took a really long time to build. And this one's just like Legos.
I know. Can you believe that in a few months we're coming up on the Poly Tower having been open for a whole year too?
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
Yeah, and they just had another declaration of rooms at the Poly Island Tower. I would say it's quickly approaching about 50% in terms of, I think, like declared inventory. And you know that's another one that I think all of these timelines are going to align when it comes to, you know, what the next move is, because they need, and maybe that's why they're rushing. I don't know. Is the date still 2027 or are they pushing to get this thing out a little bit earlier because they know that Riviera is going to sell out. Island Tower is selling faster than probably they thought.
Yeah.
And then what are you left with? The cabins at Fort Wilderness?
Yeah.
I'd be worried. I'd be worried.
That's what happened legit when the first Grand Floridian went on sale. It had 0 promotions whatsoever. So imagine, you know, you're learning about this new DVC resort. It was the Grand Floridian. There was 0 promotions. It was the price. It was selling so quick that they had to keep raising the price. Like normally they might raise the price maybe a couple times a year, if that, but the Polynesian was, you know, not even close to being ready. And they were almost selling out of the Grand too fast. So I swear to God, it felt like every 2 months we were telling members price increase, $5 a point, $10 a point. And people were still going crazy buying the Grand Floridian. I don't know exactly when Lakeshore Lodge will go on sale, but I cannot in any way, shape, or form see that resort going on sale while they're still selling at minimum the Riviera. Riviera will 100% have to, because now you cannot give people 18 choices of new resorts being built to buy direct. Yeah. So I think Riviera has to sell out. Then their other push, then they still have the Polynesian, because again, that's location gold. I mean, if I was going to buy direct, I'd be like, that's a no-brainer for me. It's the Polynesian, one and done. So if they have, here's Lakeshore Lodge, and we're in the final push for the Polynesian, you know, which one do you think is going to work best for you? And oh, by the way, Lakeshore Lodge, you can use your points at the cabin because it's all part of the same association. So
that was
disclaimer: this is pure speculation on Derek's part and ours.
That was going to kind of probably be my answer. And I would almost do 2 things if I were Disney. I would steal, as much as I want to report on what Lakeshore Lodge is going to be, I would steal a playbook from Universal right now, and I wouldn't announce a thing for Lakeshore Lodge until we get to that point that Riviera is sold out. Yeah. And then you do it all at once. It's a double whammy. Riviera is sold out. Guess what? And here's your giant reveal of Lakeshore Lodge. And guess what? It goes on sale next week. And so
and you don't come out with like your Tuesday morning blogs of here's pictures and menus for all the restaurants that are going to be at Lakeshore Lodge. And this resort doesn't open for another year. Because then all you're doing is you're building excitement for people to learn about the club that say, again, you know what? This is nice, but I'm just going to wait to buy when Lakeshore Lodge goes on sale. You're exactly right. Stop with showing all the details. Just let it build. When Bay Lake Tower went on sale, that sucker, I swear to God, was up there forever, and they never even announced it. Everyone knew that it was the first DVC monorail resort, but Disney didn't say. DVC would deny everything. We used to have to be like, I don't know if it's DVC. I mean, it could be like a Walmart, you know. So they waited until the last possible minute, and they need to do that.
Because you build that, like, you're right. You build that anticipation, and then now you've got a sense of urgency. Oh, it goes on sale next week. We've got to make this decision. We got to buy.
Yep.
And they need to staff it. They need to staff these sales centers so that when people want to see it, because with 900 or whatever rooms they're building at this place, you can't show up and say, I want to see this new building. And they say, well, you'll have to come back Thursday between like 11:30 and 11:45. They can't do it this time. Like, it's hard enough to get into the Poly. It's hard enough to see the cabins. The Boardwalk one doesn't even really exist. Canada, don't even get me started. Like, hold on. I just don't understand why they don't want to sell. They don't want to take people's money when people are fired up and excited about it. They have to staff those centers not 24/7, but
I had a moment of shock.
You're going to say exactly what I was
know you're going to say. I had a moment of shock at the Run Disney Expo. And this wasn't a cast member who recognized us or knew us or anything. We were just walking past the DVC booth and we barely glanced at it because Paul was like, oh, they're giving out those water bottles again. We've already got them. And we were walking and are they guides at that table or are they just ASAs?
They have to be ASAs.
Okay.
Yeah.
The ASA that was there, he walked out of his way, stopped us, said, are you guys runners? Handed us the stickers and like asked if we wanted a water bottle, asked if we were members. And that was like, normally they don't make eye contact with you unless you're really kind of up in their business and they are like, oh, okay. But that was very surprising for me that he came over out of his way outside the booth, to give us stuff, to ask us if we were running, to ask us if we wanted a water bottle. That is what they need more of. Yep. They need more of that at the booths, that actually make eye contact, that, ask you how you're doing, see if you want to learn anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's not being pushy. You can always say, oh, thanks, no, thank you. And that's fine. But like, to not have eye contact made when I walk by those DVC booths, I think it just bothers me.
It reminds me of we're in a new build community and there's a bunch of other new build communities around us at the moment. But there's someone that apparently works for our builder that stands on the corner of our development with the spinner sign under her arm and she's on her phone and she just stands there. And we were running the other day and we passed the other community. And this lady's getting it, and she's spinning the sign, and she's going. And I was like, yes, that is how it's done. So kudos to the guy that was working the Run Disney Expo.
Right, I was impressed. Yeah, and shocked. I was like taken aback, like, oh my gosh, he looked us in the eyes and said, hello.
What do I say? What do I say back?
I got stickers with Moana on them.
So true because they do. I mean. And I know that they still do because they have such an amazing training team for both guides and ASAs. And I don't know how much it's different because even guide training, back in it was like, this was a long time ago, but it was like 2 months of training that I think might be less, and I think it might be the same for the ASAs, which are such a crucial role in it. And the best ASAs are the ones that don't go out there focused on numbers, on booking tours. They're the ones that I'm still such great friends with them. And their top performers are the ones that say they're working a booth in Epcot. And if a guy walks by wearing a Chicago Bears shirt, shout out, go Bears or go Packers. And then the guy will come over and they'll start a conversation. And next thing you know, that person has booked a tour. It's about finding that commonality with them. Members will always go up to any booth and kiosk. They love to talk. So members will always go up and they want to talk about points and they want to talk about that. And it's funny because Jeff had mentioned the Canada place in Epcot when Annie and I were at Epcot not that long ago. We were there and I was just watching it and watching what was going on. And I was just like, God, that is such a missed opportunity to not try to book someone on tour, but to just have a place where you could walk through, put the rooms behind glass. I don't care, like a zoo exhibit, but at least you could walk through and see like, oh, there's a poly room. There's a poly 1-bedroom. And then at the end, would you like more information? Here's some general info. I can't even get through the door. And I'm like intimidated of like walking up by the front door because I don't want to be like, well, I don't want to go on tour or I don't want to do any of that. And I just realized how many families that are perfect for Disney Vacation Club that, get scared or don't want to come back. Like Jeff said, oh, next slot's available is next Thursday at 9 a.m. And you're like, well, no, thanks. I'll go home and buy resale. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, Derek, as a salesman, we both worked in sales. I know Paul has too. Who's the easiest sell? The person that comes to you or the one that you have to go get? You know what I mean? Like if I've showed up, there's an interest there. Why turn me away ever? Why? I don't understand it. And like you said, people plan these Disney World vacations months in advance. They've got spreadsheets, they've got dining reservations, they've got fast passes. Maybe next Thursday at 11:45 doesn't work for them. Like they're there now. Don't let them leave.
No, and it doesn't make me want it even more. It makes me go, that DVC thing seemed kind of interesting, but I couldn't talk to anyone and I couldn't see a room. Let me Google, is it DVC resale? Oh, the DVC resale market. Oh, let me look at that. You're shooting yourself in the foot. You've got people that are on vacation covered in pixie dust. Show them a model. Just, don't say it's, an hour and a half, 2 hours long. People don't want to hear that. Just get them excited. You're losing people.
You should almost always have someone on standby that is there, waiting for that call from an ASA that says, I've got a real good lead right now. Let's get them in a room and let's talk with them. Or keep every other appointment open so that you have the people like Jeff and your friends that show up at Fort Wilderness, and it's like, yeah, let's head right in.
Yeah.
Well, we went to Saratoga Springs that one day, different friends, and all of the guides were at lunch at the same time. Like I couldn't.
Sorry, we're closed.
What are you doing? Make two guys go to lunch an hour later.
Did they have the little clock that said like back at 12:30?
No, the ASAs were there. They're like, you guys could go wander around the resort. They'll be back in an hour. We're going to go wander around, but we're not going to be back in an hour. We're on vacation.
Yeah.
My time's important too.
Yeah. We got lunch in an hour. So.
And for anyone wondering, I don't eat lunch or dinner. I'm always available.
This is very true. I don't ever see the man eat.
He's just out there rowing.
I think Annie just shows up and like just force feeds a sandwich to him while he keeps typing while he's working all day. So very efficient.
Do you think he sits and does sales on chat with like a hat with the beer in the things and like the straws?
The little straws. Stay hydrated, Derek. Well, speaking of resale, let's pivot this conversation because we're very rapidly approaching almost an hour of talking about direct sales.
Oh man.
But another side of this is resale and the resale market. And if you didn't know this and you've been living in a cave and listening to this show, I write 2 very good blogs, I like to say, not toot my own horn.
Very good, he says.
For DVC resale market. Don't sass me. Every single
they
month,
are good.
They come out the first of the month. And one is what we call our average sales prices for the month prior, where we look at all of the sales that resale market did that prior month, and we give you all those stats. The other is the right of first refusal report, the ROFR report. I'm not going to touch on that one too much on this show because we are talking numbers more than anything. The big thing I would say about ROFR right now is that not much has changed with the strategy of ROFR over the past few months. And I say that on several different areas. There has been active ROFR activity. Disney does continue to make some strategic decisions when it comes to ROFR. We've talked about those on this show before, whether it's ROFR-ing Grand Floridian contracts because that's the neighbor next door to the Polynesian and it's an easy sell. Same thing for the Grand Californian. It's the neighbor next door to Disneyland Hotel. And Derek's talked about this previously, where it's really nice to be able to say that if someone goes, well, what about that place next door? Why, certainly you can buy it. We have points available right now. Let's go sit down and talk about it. They've been very strategic about those. They've also been a little bit strategic about some old Key West buybacks here and there, some Animal Kingdom buybacks. Anyone that does follow our reports pretty closely probably had the question of what was going to happen come October. October is the start of the new Walt Disney Company fiscal year. So we always kind of go, is anything with that strategy going to change when it comes to ROFR-ing contracts? The answer is really no. We've not seen any significant changes.
Yeah, not really.
As I sit here right now, There's 12 ROFRs that occurred in October. I would imagine a couple more will have peppered in even before this video goes up, and this video will go up after the month ends. So that updated report is already over on the DVC resale market website. So head over and read it, give you a little bit more insight as to what got ROFR'd. The big thing I would just say is that ROFR is around, and it's not something that I think you should overly be scared of.
No, but I did have some borrowers that it happened a few times for them. Like
Derek, you had an unlucky person that had like three ROFRs in a row.
It might have been the person. We might be talking about the same person.
Sorry if we're talking about you and you're listening to this show, but it is an oddity right now.
But it happens. It can happen.
Yeah, whoever that is, don't go to Vegas.
I think it was old Key West, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is always, we always tell people, listen, the right one's out there. You got nothing to lose. So if you're thinking about it, and say, God, this is a really great deal, but I'm afraid if it gets ROFR, if you've got time, go for it. Again, it's not like they're buying back 100% of any contract whatsoever. Some contracts are not bought back at all. And you could see which ones have not been. When you check out, go to the search bar, dvcresalemarket.com, search bar, type in ROFR. You can see that there's some resorts that haven't been touched. And some of those are surprising. But, again, try it. Worst case scenario is, like Amy talked about, they moved over their escrow into a different listing and try it again. Other folks were bought back and said, you know what, this maybe isn't the best time. Maybe that's a sign from a higher power that I shouldn't be buying this. So I'm just going to get my escrow refunded. So it's not like you're out any money if ROFR doesn't work.
Yeah,
but
just
for every person that says, oh, I'm afraid to do it, there's people that get notified. Most people get notified with congratulations. And you know what day it is because they're all on DVC Fan posting, I passed this resort at this price, and everybody says, congratulations. So it's out there.
Yeah. So the bigger
the market question for Derek, actually. And we kind of talked about this at Brewfest a little bit, but as Paul mentioned, I'm kind of circling the wagons on some more points. Some add-on-itis is happening. It seems to me, and I'm just going off of the fantastic, here's a little plug, DVC Resale Market app. But I have my search parameter. You can put in your own search parameters. If you're looking for certain use year, certain resort, whatever. The ones that come into I get the notification on my phone that says, hey, there's a such and such contract. This many points.
Oh, I made Jeff small.
I was going to ask
Sorry,
you,
Jeff.
Why did Jeff get so small?
Oh, look at that.
Ow.
Wow.
Ow. Get over. Get off me.
We've gone off the rails again. What was I saying?
That was the best.
It seems to me, just based on the contracts that I've had my eyes on, things are going fast.
No.
I've even had some go the same day they were listed, the ones that I were looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
things can go, like we always tell people. 80% so we sell millions every single week. 80% of listings will sell in 30 days or less. Some listings can sell within legit seconds of being listed. It could be seconds and then something is gone already, especially those
Small.
Unicorns, like a small beach club, a small boardwalk, or if it's a super unicorn, if that's an actual thing, it's listings under 50 points, which are super rare. So you'll find things of 25 points or 35 points like that. But some stuff can go super quick. So that's a good plug, Jeff, because that's, if you're looking for one of those, or again, just get the app. Download it. It's free. So if you're especially a member that wants to find something in that use year that you already have, because you don't want to get a different use year and it's maybe more of a hassle, you could set your filters, and say, I'm looking for a Boulder Ridge under 100 points with a February use year. That's it. And you'll get pinged as soon as we get it. You'll be like, oh my God, there's a 50 pointer at, my use year. I'm going to swerve over to the side of the road. I'm going to purchase it immediately before anybody else gets it, and you do it. So it's a good idea.
Yeah. My rule of thumb is I should never impulse buy, even though I do all the time. So I'll see something come in. I'm like, all right, if that's there tomorrow, I'm going to get serious about it.
That's a good way to look at it.
I haven't had to buy it because they've been going off the shelves. So
I'm buying them.
The DVC Resale Market app is available for Apple devices and Android. So just search DVC Resale Market. The other thing that I wanted to touch on tonight was just those average prices, kind of what we've been seeing throughout the fall months, moving into kind of 2026, what we may see at the beginning of that year. From tracking this data, what we're seeing kind of through this end of 2025 is historically what we would call kind of seasonality, what you would typically expect this time of year. There's a lower number of sellers. And so prices are kind of creeping upwards a little bit. And we've seen that progression, I think, over the course of the past 2 or 3 months. When I wrote the report, actually at the end of September, there were only 227 active resale listings.
Yeah,
and I think that's an important number to focus on for 2 reasons. One, DVC resale market sells more listings than that in a single month on a monthly basis. So if you are looking as a seller and you're wondering how long is it going to take for my contract to sell, it's going to go real quick. Unless you have it priced crazy, ridiculously high or something like that, it's going to go real fast because, I imagine that most of those 227 listings sold since I last looked at what those numbers were, and I haven't actually looked today. I'll probably look that when I make Derek talk here in a minute or two. But we're kind of seeing that declining inventory has been the theme throughout this. But guess what? 2 big things change that as we head into this time of year. One is that we are in the lovely holiday shopping season. My wife has already presented me with her holiday Christmas list of things that she wants. And so if any of you are, thinking about buying for kids or significant other, what they're going to buy for the holidays, you're also wondering where that money is. And so we get some people that I think start to sell contracts for that reason. The bigger reason comes up January 15th, which is dun, 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 annual dues. And that is a big driving factor for many people to choose to sell. Yeah, we can curmudgeon annual dues. Ooh, dues. But
no, it's not. It's annual due. You get one.
Yeah, one due.
According to Derek.
One due, according to Derek. Derek, give us a little highlight of kind of what you've been seeing on the market.
Yeah, I think you liken that analogy was perfect because I've told people, we can get like 50 to 75 new listings every single week. But like Paul said, we sell a ton. So it's like a swimming pool that has a leak in it and we have a hose in it at the same time. So as soon as we sell something, we're hopefully getting more listings. So for any seller out there that's debating, that's on the fence, don't wait, get it listed now. And I say that just because once the whispers come out of the dues and once they hold that annual meeting in December and your dues are going to go up a little bit and then you envision, oh my God, I haven't really used this as much in the last year or the last few years. That's when we get flooded with usual is maybe 50 to 75 new listings every single week. Then we're talking in that December, January timeframe, 75 to 100 plus every single week. So what that means for you as a seller is do it sooner than later, just because you're going to have less competition, right? So right now it's a supply and demand thing, and some of these resorts have gone up. And like Paul's report, I mean, some have gone up like $15 a point, $20 a point per se. So if you're out there and you own, say, 150, 200 points at Saratoga Springs, you try to sell that thing, which again, you'll still sell it. But if you're looking at, the market when we've got 20 to 30, 150 Saratoga Springs, buyers just have more to be able to pick from because at the end of the day, these are points. It's not a house. I tell people it's not a house where, oh my God, it's the perfect house. It's right across from the school. It's got a great backyard. I love it. And there's only one. Oh my God, I have to have it. It's points. So it's literally, you have other ones to look from. Buyers will always look at price per point. So they're I'm looking for around 150 points at Saratoga Springs. Oh, look, there's 15 to be able to pick and choose from. What's the best deal that I can possibly get? So yes, Paul, you are correct in the fact that we sell so much. And if something lasts past 30 days, odds are that seller might have said, you know what? I know you told me and suggested what to list it for, but you know what, Derek, I think I'm going to list it for like $15, $20 more per point. And it's sitting there. And then they'll ask and say, so is the market slow? I'm like, no. Just a reminder. Just a reminder, you wanted to be listed $15 to $20 more. That's why people are scooting past your listing and buying everything up. Because again, we're selling millions every single week. Why would people buy now versus waiting? Because they want to get the process done. That's why people buy now, because again, it's going to take 60 to 70 days to close on that contract, then about 3-4 weeks for Disney to load the points. So those people that want to get started to get in the Disney system, by January, so they could start booking for maybe, a summer vacation or maybe next fall or maybe next winter. That's why you would buy sooner rather than later.
It's funny. You kind of talk about the person that like prices too high. When we sold our house last year, there was an identical house one street over from us, and it was the same exact house, and it was priced $50,000 more than our house.
Same exact build.
Talked to our realtor and everything, and we were just like, we wanted to sell. We were being realistic in our list price. We sold within a month, essentially, of listing the house. And Amy just noticed the other day.
It's still for sale, and they are now under what we sold our house for, like listed.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we're talking over a year later because we sold it was for sale for months before ours went on sale, and we sold in October of last year. So it's been way over a year for it. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Talking about listings though, I looked at the whole number, but I don't remember it. But just
277. So I pulled that up also. So we are already kind of seeing that upward shift as we sit here at the end of October filming this show. I think I said 227 is where we were at the beginning of the month. We're already about 50 more. So probably going to start to continue to see that upward.
But we are, there are some resorts that have some very low inventory. So Beach Club has 6 total listings. No, I'm sorry, 8. It was 8, and then Boulder Ridge was 6, and Grand California was like 3. So I just thought that was interesting. Yeah. But yeah, we are going to start to see, like you said, those start to come up as we get closer to the holidays and as the annual dues start creeping up.
And I think the last thing I kind of want to end us on is that if you are someone listening to this show for the first time today and wondering like how much of a price difference we're really talking about in that direct versus resale perspective, first, I just want to say to you, where have you been all of my life? Please subscribe to the DVC Fan YouTube channel and head to dvcfan.com and join us for all of our fun antics. We have an amazing Facebook group on facebook.com/DVCFan. A lot of fun that we have together here and a lot that you can learn. But just to give you an idea of that direct versus resale pricing, that is always at the bottom of those average price blogs. And I'm just going to hit on the active selling resorts real quick. So Disneyland Hotel out in California, currently direct sale price of $245 per point. The average price in September was $163, so a 33% savings on that resort. When we look here, I'll also mention Alani. That resort has been selling direct forever and will continue to. $235 per point direct. $96 that average price as of September. Crazy to see that below $100. A 59% savings when buying resale. And then the big ones that are out here in Walt Disney World, we have the Polynesian, again, part of the same association. So if you buy resale or you buy direct, you're getting access to the entirety of the Polynesian. I know that there are a few doubters out there still questioning whether or not that's true. But promise you, it's true. $235 per point before incentives direct right now, $166 per point resale. So a 29% savings by going the resale route. We also have Riviera Resort. This goes to kind of Derek's analogy earlier of driving that car off the lot. $235 per point direct, $118 per point resale, so a 50% savings. Keep in mind there are resale restrictions for some newer resorts like Riviera, Disneyland Hotel, and the cabins at Fort Wilderness, which means that if you buy that via resale, you're only going to be able to use those points at that specific resort. But is that worth 50% off? A lot of people have said yes and bought them and enjoyed them. So, and last but not least, not a true gauge as to where this is going to land yet because we only have like 2 or 3 different contracts that have sold. But Fort Wilderness, the cabins at Fort Wilderness, $235 before incentives right now, $135 direct, so 43% savings. And I would expect to see most of those direct base prices increase anywhere from $5 to $10 per point at some point in January, just as ticket prices just increased and annual pass prices increased. Disney will always increase those prices. Yes, there will be incentives that bring them down, but overall they will still be more expensive than they were yesterday. So not really a show where we're really trying to push you in one direction or another, whether it be direct or resale, but really just wanted to present you with kind of the market options as they exist today so that you can make an informed decision. Anything else?
I think that's good.
That's good. All right. Derek's going to go change his shirt in 5 minutes because we got one more show to do tonight. So that's going to do it for this week's episode of the DVC show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next Monday.
Move over. Just move. Move over. Move over. Make him small again.